Assalamu alaikum, my dear students. I am Sadia Hussain, lecturer, Department of Finance and Banking. My dear students, today I am going to discuss Chapter 2, Sources of Finance. This is our lecture number 3. In this lecture, I am going to discuss non-institutional sources of short-term finance. Here, first one is commercial paper. Commercial paper is a promissory note without mortgage which can be sold in the money market to get financing for 1 year or less. A business organization sells commercial paper through promising to pay back the principal amount with interest after expiry of the certain period. At that time, the company's goodwill acts as a security to the purchaser. Usually, those persons who have excess money left as unutilized for the time being purchase commercial papers as an alternative of investment in shares. Generally, well-known person, commercial banks, insurance company, pension fund, etc. can arrange finance for a short term by selling commercial papers. Here are some other sources for non-institutional source of short-term loan. First one is advance from purchaser. In many cases, trustful and permanent customers pay as advance to the producing or selling firm the full amount or part of their total purchase, and as a result, this acts as a source of finance to the seller for the time being. Inventory financing or inventory turnover. For the purpose of short-term financing, warehouse asset can be used. If any business firm uses its inventory as security of loan received from a well-known person or organization, it is called the inventory financing. Then, last one from this purpose is village moneylenders. Since long days ago, rich people of the villages have been producing short-term loans to the poor people. In this case, if the period of loan repayment is expired, the debtor has to pay high rate of interest. If the person fails to pay back the loan with interest within specified time frame, the moneylenders took the possession of his tangible and intangible property. That means the debtor's property. Village moneylenders count to impose interest on this loan on daily basis, weekly basis and monthly basis, as well as very much higher rate of interest. Then, midterm financing. When any fund is taken for a period of more than 1 year but less than 5 years, then it is called midterm finance. Midterm finance is usually taken for meeting the working capital requirements of a company. Commercial banks, specialized banks, private banks are the source of midterm financing. A firm uses, that means a business firm uses this fund to meet the demand of long-term needs of the current capital. Cost of capital or interest rate of this fund is higher than that of the short-term sources of finance and less than that of long-term sources of finance. Here are some sources or examples of midterm finance. First one is commercial bank loan. Loans which the commercial banks provide for midterms are usually given against security, current capital or even fixed asset can be used as security for obtaining this type of loan. Huge amount of loan payment may be a risky job for a commercial bank. So, when a commercial bank pays huge amount of loan, it creates syndication of a number of commercial banks together to bear in group the high risks of loan repayment. Then, specialized financial institution. Generally, some financial institutions are established under the government ownership which are engaged in the development of the country's specialized sectors. These institutions provide term loan on favorable conditions to the relevant sectors such as Industrial Bank, Agricultural Bank. Bangladesh small and cottage industries are examples of these institutions. Non-government institution. There are different kinds of NGOs working in Bangladesh which provide mid-term loan to the business institutions. Apart from this, providing fund, these institutions also provide consultancy, training, support in efficiency, building activities, etc. to the business organizations. Then, last one is capital market institutions. Different types of capital institutions such as insurance company, investment bank, finance mediatory institutions, that means underwriters, also provide mid-term loans. Long-term finance. Long-term financing extends from 5 years to the maximum of any duration. Long-term financing has some distinctive features. That means first one is long-term finance is the amount is bigger than the mid-term or short-term funds. So, this fund is usually used to acquire fixed assets like land, building, equipment, etc. Another feature is related with the repayment schedule. If long-term fund is collected through loan, it has to repay as per contracted payment schedule. Again, if long-term fund is collected through selling shares, then this fund is considered as owner's capital. So this liability need not to be repaid till the business dissolution. Here are some other sources or examples of long-term finance. First one is loan. Generally, any organization takes long-term loans against security to bear the expenses of expensive equipments, machineries, buildings, land purchase, etc. Before sanctioning long-term loans, banks analyze different information like income of the company, goodwill, amount of fixed asset, previous events of taking loan and loan repayment trends, etc. Long-term loan is collected for fixed investments such as expansion of the scope of the business, factory construction, building construction, purchasing heavy equipment, etc. Then debenture. In the case of debenture, fund is collected through selling the large amount of loan after dividing into small fractions. It is an alternative to share, but debenture holders are bound to pay fixed rate of interest which is kept mentioned in debenture. Main advantage of financing through selling debenture is the long-term existence of fixed rate of interest, and as interest rate is predetermined, financial managers can make an effective plan of financing. Then last one is leasing. Leasing is an amazing method of long-term financing. If an organization needs expensive machine, equipments, transport, etc., then it has to purchase those things directly, or instead of purchasing directly, the organization can use those things through a lease contract from a leasing company. Then our today's last topic is International Monetary Fund. The short form is IMF. It is an international economic organization. It is initiated as the result of proposal of Bretton Woods Conference of USA in 1945. At present, the number of members of the organization is 189. Its headquarters is in Washington, D.C. It helps to reconstruct the economy of different countries. My dear students, that's all for today's class. If you have any kind of questions or queries, you can call me or we can discuss it in our Zoom class. Allah Hafiz.